Hello. Welcome to Dread Prospects. This is our second episode, and we're journeying along by coach in the year 1815. It's October 15th. Little does our hero know that this is the same day that Napoleon was exiled to St. Helena. We're now journeying along in a coach with Major Niles, and he has been in, I guess, a conversation with Ulrika Backlund. Ulrika is a tarot reader. And that's pretty much all we know about her so far. But she read Niles's tarot, and we got a sense of who he is and possibly where he may be going in the future. And remarkably, it was exceedingly accurate as to what I had described earlier on. So if you haven't watched episode 1, go and watch episode 1 and catch up on what was really a remarkable kind of gameplay. I've explained before that this is a mashup. We're using the Ironsworn rules. We're using Vaesen as the world. And a number of other publications which will contribute. And I particularly draw our attention to Ghastly Affairs and that role-playing game, but particularly Ghastly Companion, which describes scenery, buildings, all sorts, in that Regency period, the Georgian Regency period. So we're talking 1790s to about 1820. And so we're 1815, October the 15th. It's a Sunday, and they're traveling. So, what we know so far about Niles Friand, Major Niles Friand, is he was a Prussian army officer, though he's Swedish, and we don't exactly know why yet, why he's part of the Prussian army. We know that he's journeying to Sundsvall, where his brother, his younger brother, father, Victor Friand, is a pastor, and he's ministering to a parish there. He's written him with great urgency, stating that he needs to meet with him as soon as possible, and that it is of the utmost priority for Niels to return. Victor is obviously aware that Niels suffered a head injury at the Battle of Waterloo and has taken time to recover. We know that some of the assets that we've chosen are actually going to be revealed as part of that head trauma. He has not stopped to go home. We don't know where his home estate is, but we will find out. He's on his way. As I said, he had a reading by this mystic, Ulrika Backlund. She's 28, by the way. He's 36. And she presented him with this opportunity, which he took. And there was a couple of other people in the coach along with these two. One is the valet, Lofgren, Klaus Lofgren. He's in his 60s. He is quite droll, practical. He's precise, OCD even. And he knows his role. Though he's been with Niles for a very long time. And we can easily say that probably in his teen years, he's been a part of his life. And so this is, he's known Niles very well, and there's a good relationship so far that we can see between them. We also have another person in the coach which we haven't really spoken about. A mystery gentleman, and he's a distinguished looking man, again in his 60s. He seems to be very disinterested in the travel. This is the situation. It's raining. I laugh because if you watch the other episode, that was a time sink to find out that it was raining. But it is raining. It's quite cool. It's about 5 degrees Celsius. I am Canadian. I have no clue what that is Fahrenheit. And so it's 5 degrees. So 0 is freezing, by the way. And so it's quite cool outside, but it is raining. It is fall, as I said, and they're approaching a coach house. And that's where we begin today. Other things will be revealed, but that's enough for us to kind of get started with today's session. So I have some things that we need to do as just a matter of course. One of the things that I neglected to do last time was describe him or kind of anyone else. So let's get to some of that. Now, I'm going to bring us to our alternative scene. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring us to the dice because I'm going to bring you to the alternative scene. So here we go. So you'll see this wonderful image that I looked up. This is warlordgames.com, and this is a product called Prussian Landwehr Regiment from 1813 to 1815. And you'll see these very almost Nazi looking like characters, unfortunately. I guess it's, we put our modern spin on things, don't we? But this is kind of a depiction of what those military men would have looked like. And so this is a depiction for your own kind of memory. This is basically what they would have looked like in the Prussian army and what he would have looked like. So we're going to go to a different tab. I'm going to dump that tab since we now know kind of the uniform. It's got caps. Ordinarily, I've seen before quite tall regimental headwear, but in this case, it's very different and actually very familiar as well, because it does look very much like it's from the 30s or the 40s. So we get rid of this image, and we're going to go over here. So what I envision Neil's wearing is something here. He's got his cap, he's got his flashes as being a major, and of course he has his regimental saber, and he does have a rifle and a bayonet, both of which are assets that he will be using. And one of those is Archer. That, of course, is for the rifle. And Skirmisher, which is for his iron bayonet. Just in case you're wondering, he also has the asset Sighted, and he has the asset for Communion. So, it looks like this, kind of. And we go to another image, and once again, there's the infantry standard up here, which you can see, and he is this guy, the Landwehr. And so this is going to be quite fun. And thanks for letting me show you all these images. This one comes, you can see, actually you can't see where this comes from. This is from an image on ipinimage.com. And so look that up. Basically, these are just images off the internet. I am not making any money off of this, and so therefore I'm giving as much credit. This is from the same i.pinimage.img.com. And of course we have the Russian stuff. So we're going to dump that out. We're going to go to the calendar. Yay. And you might be saying to yourselves, why 1779? I thought we were in 1815, and we are. When was he born? This may come into play. So let's get a D12. There's one. And we're going to roll a D12. Let's see how this goes. He's born in December. So he's a December child. And we're going to see when he was born. So I'm going to say let's roll a D6, ignoring the 6. I know. You're thinking to yourself, what are you doing? There's 30 days in a month generally. 31 in December. Why aren't you rolling something else? 4. Fourth week. 23rd. He's born on the 23rd of December. So, Christmas baby. So, I'm going to mark this down. December 23rd. For those of you who are Vaesen fans, look at the calendar. You will understand. All right, so we've done that. That's awesome. So there's our calendar dealt with. And we're going to switch over to this image. Oh, all right. Well, we're not in the image yet, but this is a Regency Clothing blogspot.com. And this is a plate, and I'm going to move it over so you can see. The woman in the rose color, that is Ulrika Backlund, our tarot reader. And that is how she looks. So, come back to the sheet, and you can take a look at what's going on there. So you'll see that I've added a couple of new, how would I say, well, they're vows, but I'm kind of trying to change the name from an iron vow to kind of a promise. Now, we're talking about Sweden in the 1800s. It's primarily a Christian country, and so that's the context. And so there's kind of differing thoughts and stuff. And so you'll see that maybe he's making a promise like on the Bible, where you put your hand on the Bible and you swear. Well, something similar. He may have a cross on him, but he's sworn an oath to his brother in a letter that is responding to that initial letter of urgency. I'm going to meet you. And so the first vow that we have is meet his brother, Father Victor Friant, in Sundsvall. And I've marked it down as troublesome. And last time I said, well, it's going to be a troublesome event because I don't want to put it as dangerous. It's a relatively well-traveled road. And so I don't want to kind of make it a little more complicated than it needs to be, but complicated enough that it may cause issues. So the other thing is that we found out at the end of last session that he's got an enemy. And the enemy is a very interesting character that we rolled for, and it's Major Sven Pendry. He's a British Swede. Okay, Pendry is certainly a British name. Sven is a Swedish name, and so his father was British. And he is he's a formidable foe, and so that's why formidable has been chosen for this. He's we don't know much about him at the moment, and that I think will be revealed. But what we did come up with the oracle is that he there's an avoidance of peace, and that he's hostile. We also know 3 things about Sven. Pendry is charming, agreeable, and stealthy. We'll see how that comes into play. So, we've got a rival. So, Sven Pendry. We have to find out more about him, don't we? And then, I thought about this long and hard. And Sean, if you even venture to watch this treatment, I think you might be intrigued by my notion of what this epic vow is for him. To find inner peace. Okay, let's get this out of the way. There is going to be conflict. There is going to be fights, and there's going to be engagement along traditional kind of D&D type of events that we see in gaming. It is story as well, so I am going to be narrating and doing a story. But isn't it fascinating that the epic vow that he's made to himself and that he's sworn to God that he's going to do is find inner peace. That's his challenge. And that's going to be my challenge as a solo role player, to live that out and what that's going to look like. So instead of a confrontation in the traditional understanding, he's going to be confronting himself at various times, trying to find inner peace. Wow. So, we'll see how this works. There will be, trust me, there will be lots of other vows, but we already have to confront Major Sven Pendry. And what does that confrontation look like? Is that part of finding inner peace, is getting rid of this weight around his neck that is Sven Pendry, Major Sven Pendry. We'll find out more about this hopefully soon. So, those are my vows. I don't have anything else at the moment. I've just got those 3. That, I think, is enough. We're going to look at bonds. So, his first bond is for Reverend Victor Friant. He is in the Sundsvall region. He is the younger brother. And so Niles has always been in the background. Though charming and witty, his brother has always been his parents' favorite. You'll also remember from last episode that his mother had lost all of her pregnancies other than Niels, who is the oldest. But remember, he was sickly as a child. Maybe his mother thought that he would die. Victor came along, and Victor seems to have been maybe perhaps the favorite child. We'll discover more about that soon enough. I will be adding in bonds, and I might as well do it now. We're going to add Klaus. So, his valet, Klaus. And if this was my iPad, I'd be able to do the umlauts with no problem, but unfortunately, I am not adept at my Mac enough to be able to just knock those out of the park. If you have an easier solution for how I can do the key mapping, go for it. So anyway, there is Klaus Lofgren, and his location is with Major Friant. And we'll leave the descriptors and stuff because I'm not going to bog us down by going through the kind of bookkeeping aspect of things. So there is that. We'll go back to, well, we'll go to the Oracle section here on Ironsworn. There we go. Moves. No, I'll leave it there at the moment. All right. So, actually, we'll go to moves. All right, perfect. So we've got this up, and I do want to show you another slide. So I'm going to just pop this over, and I'm going to move this so that you can see it properly. All right. And just need to grab something. So they're traveling along, and the reading has ended, and all of a sudden the passengers hear a loud horn below, one of those long bronze or brass horns, sounds, and everybody is kind of jolted and woken up, and because they're relatively familiar with the travel, they know that they are in Soderham. So Soderham is a location about halfway, and I showed you in the last episode, but it's about halfway, and they all are aware that this signals the approach to the coach house that is waiting for them. We're going to just slip over to an image so that you can see this image. And so there is the coach house. This image is from desiretoinspire.net. And I think what I did is I looked up coach houses in Sweden, and I think I used .se. So there you have it. A wonderful image of a beautiful coach house. And they arrive and are expecting, I would imagine, dinner. So here we are, and we're currently looking at a ghastly companion to castles, mansions, and estates, a rough and hewn edition. And so I encourage you to purchase this on Drive-Thru RPG, and it's a wonderful resource for this period of time. So they are passing through the gate of the country inn and leading into the kind of courtyard. As I said last episode, they are coming out, and the valet, who is Lofgren, ensures that everything is okay, and everyone departs. And they move into the salon of the inn and are greeted by a very kind and generous man who obviously is maybe not the host, but somebody who is going to receive them. They enter in and sit down for their meal. And as often happens, discussion takes place. So let's just look. back. So I'm just trying to get some stuff organized on my screen. All right. So I think we'll go here. All right. So Ulrika was fairly talkative, as she has been so far on the journey. Says, Major Friant, tell me about this journey to see your brother. Where do you hail from? What brings you on such a long and perilous journey? It's not that perilous, Niles says. I've traveled this coach before, long time ago, maybe 13, 14 years ago. I took it on my way to Prussia. I was wondering about that. You're Swedish, but you're serving in the Prussian army? Yes. How did that come about? Niles looks down and has something to eat. He's quite famished, and after a bite, and once he's swallowed, says, well, back in 1803, after receiving a commission in the Swedish army, I was frustrated by the lack of vision. Sweden has no interest, or had no interest at that time, of engaging in any type of warfare. I felt that Prussia would be much more adept at protecting Swedish interests. And so I went and was able to procure a commission in the Prussian army. I was very fortunate to be able to serve and have done my best over these past, I don't know, well over a decade. But it's neither here nor there. I served and I've protected my country as best I can. Now I return, hopefully, to a peace that has long eluded me. Your valet, Lofgren? Yes, Lofgren. He's been with me for, since I was a teen. Yes, you seem to have a good relationship with him. Niles is kind of taken aback and is realizing that he's almost revealing too much of himself. He's kind of amazed that he's been so open with this very new person. And is kind of intrigued about Ulrika and completely changes the subject. He wants to avoid talking about himself, and Ulrika is aware of this. Tell me about yourself, Niles says. Ulrika is very generous, and opens up, speaking about the hardship that she's had. She's a widow. She's had no children. He died, well, she pauses. He died. It's a long story. He's a soldier. He nods. And you can see in his eyes that he has seen the horrors of war and is aware that she has gone through a lot. Sweden? She nods. I'm sorry for your loss. It's been a while, but it's still fresh. Thank you. Niles continues to be interested and says, you're quite thin. I'm sorry for my forwardness. And he immediately corrects himself and turns blood red. And she looks kind of aghast. And there are others at the table. And the other person who's at the table is this mystery man who's in his 60s. He looks aghast. He can't believe what's been said. You look thin. A big, major faux pas. Something that is not done in polite society. Let's see if she responds. So, we're going to do this. I'm going to do this. And let's get right to it. So, oh, that's with Lodestar. I wanted the rule book. And the rule book, I think, is down here. That's Vaesen. I'm still getting used to everything, but thanks for your patience. Yeah, that's Vaesen. So where is... All right. So... Okay, so I see that we're back to recording. So I apologize for that. I didn't have the PDF on my computer. I had it on my iPad. So anyway, whatever. So I'm asking the Oracle if she's offended. So, is Ulrika offended? I'm going to say that... I'm going to say it's 50-50. I'm going to say it's a 50-50. I don't think that she sees malice in his question. So I'm going to say it's 50-50. So it's on a 51 or greater, she is offended. She's offended. 51 exactly. Excuse me. I'm terribly sorry. I apologize most profusely. And he moves to get up to apologize and to leave. And she says, no, you may continue to sit. I didn't mean any harm. I just see that... I'm sorry. She says, I've had a hard time. I've had to make ends meet on my own. I do not have a background that allows me the comforts that you're accustomed to. Niles is moved by her words and just nods. The other gentleman that's at the table, there are 3 of them there. The valet is not eating with them. And the other gentleman, by my word, sir, how can you be so brazen before such a woman? Do you not hold any type of respectability? And Niles just kind of looks and says to him, "Sir, I have apologized. It has been received. Let us leave this matter alone." We're going to roll. So, I think that this is, I'm going to come back to our scene. There we go. A little bit off, but there we go. We're just going to zoop this over. And I am thinking that this is a compel. He's going to try to persuade him to just drop this. So, let's see how this goes. So, when you attempt to persuade someone or to do something, envision your approach. Well, we've done that. Charm, pacify, barter, or convince. Roll heart. Add +1 if you share a bond. He does not, so he's rolling heart. So, we will probably need to consult our... So, this is going to flip out a bit. And I'm just going to grab... Oh, they're all going wonky. Geez, what did I do with that now? Oh, that's not it. That's not it. Again, it's hard to do all of this. All right, so I was looking for something. I can't find it now. Oh, I'm looking for the page. It's right there. It was right in front of me. Silly, silly me. All right, so there we go. So let's do this. I'm not going to roll on the sheet. I know I'm being very bad, but I'm just going to go back to his summary, and I'm going to roll. Let's see how this goes. Rolling heart, +3. Oh, +3, 8. It's a failure. So, what happens with a failure? I will not stop when a young woman is insulted by such insolence. Pay the price. So, I gotta find pay the price. Action theme. All right. Where is pay the price? All right. So, here we go. Pay the price. All right, so we're going to roll a D100, and I am going to roll metal dice for this one. And because it is so important, it's time for the dice cam. 78. A surprising development complicates your quest. He turns to Niles and he says, Major, your insolence is disgusting to me, and I will not be in your presence any longer. I will now speak to the head of the house about how rude you have been. And he gets up. He stands. He acknowledges Ulrika and turns and goes to speak to the owner of the house. How has this gotten out of hand so fast? Ulrika looks at the Major, kind of shrugs, as if to say, you are out of place. So, he gets up, stands, nods, apologizes once more, and goes to follow this older gentleman who is irate at this point. He's gone to the keeper of the establishment to complain about Niles and his behavior, and that he will not stand for sitting at the same table as this individual, and he will not travel in the same coach as said individual. He goes to listen to the complaints, and the complaints just are now wild about tarot readings and the fact that this so-called Christian man is engaging in such spiritualism that it is revolting to him. And the innkeeper, the coach keeper, is very apologetic, but almost doesn't know what to do about this situation. Another person comes in and says, Sir, we will be able to accommodate you in another coach. We will move people around, and I'm sure that things can be settled. And he's just escalating things. And Niles turns to him once more and says, Please, sir, accept my sincerest apology and let us move on with this. And he looks once again, and we're back to what's going on. And so I'm going to go back to the relationship moves, and I'm going to go to compel, and we're going to do the same thing. So, once again, he's trying to convince this older man, and the gauge is that Major Niles is realizing that this is a religious person or someone who is very, very strict and rigid in their way that they're coming across. So he's getting a sense that this guy is perhaps very exacting in his faith and has tolerated all of this so-called nonsense long enough. And he's just escalating things, and it's just a cruel, nasty piece of work. And Niles is trying desperately to just calm him down. Oh my. So, it's a weak hit. Now we go back course, it's right here. So, oh, no, it's not here. Hold on. I gotta go back. So, on a weak hit, as above, they'll do what you want or share what they know. Take +1 momentum. All right. So, I have to take +1 momentum. So, I just need to move my iPad and do this, which I know is annoying, but anyway. So, I've got to give myself a momentum. And go back here. What do they want in return? Ask the Oracle. So, I'm going to go back. They're going to ask the Oracle. What does this man want as recompense to being so rudely treated? It was actually an affront to her. Oops. 56. Resist. Okay, well, you can't see that, so I'm just going to... Okay, so 47. And this is 47. Freedom. Resist freedom. Resist freedom. I'm tempted to pause it and think. All right, so resist freedom. He wants... Okay. The way I interpret this is the gentleman faces him, looks him straight in the eye. Commit yourself to your Lord and Maker. You are in this trouble because you are in the company that you keep. How dare you speak to even that woman? How dare you even have your so-called reading? It is not fun, as you presume. It is the work of the devil. Resist that temptation and deny your freedom. You have no free will. This is God's will. Do not ever engage in this type of sorcery again. I'll go back here and read this. It was pretty deep. Niles nods. He thinks. I swear, sir, that I will return to my brother, who is a priest, and I will confess my sins. Will that satisfy you? Will that satisfy him? Because it's his brother, unlikely. So I'm going to say if it's 76 or higher, it will satisfy him. So if it's 76 or higher, it will satisfy him. This is going bad very fast. 35. It is not me. It is not I that I should be leaving the coach. You should leave the coach. Well, the Major is getting fed up, and his temperament is rising. He is not very happy about this situation at all. So, he gets another momentum. All right, we're aware of this. Oops. So, he's going to get another momentum. And so, I'll bring that up. And he's kind of stuck here, isn't he? He's kind of in the midst of this drama that's unfolding. And it's a relationship drama. He has not been able to satiate this person. He's not satisfied with him going and confessing to his brother. I think he's just going to leave it as it is. I will confess when I have the time. I do not even know you, sir. I have apologized to the woman, and I am desperately sorry for my inappropriate behavior. But in terms of anything else, it is none of your business. Leave me alone, sir. I will do what I have said. Leave me alone, sir. He stands at attention, nods, and turns to leave. The person's not very satisfied. I'm going to say because he's kind of stood up, he's 6'1", he's stood up, and he's clean-shaven, a handsome-looking man. This is Niles. And the Major is now kind of exuding the fact that he's done the best he can. Let's just see if this guy is going to leave him alone. I'll say it's a 50-50 chance. 51 or over, he's going to leave him alone. 2. He pursues this to no end. And the scene kind of closes on this kind of dark blanket of craziness that this person has put Niles and, to some extent, Ulrika through. The scene opens up. The man continues to complain. But standing behind him is Klaus Lofgren, the Major's trusted and closest companion, though not a companion as an asset. "Excuse me, sir," he says. "You are causing a scene, and you are belittling your station. I encourage you to let this drop." The man is incredulous. But does he listen? 51 or higher, yeah. Oops. Oh, you can't see the other one. Damn, it was 66. 46. Nothing is changing this guy. And as the conversation unfolds, everybody in basically the building has heard this guy go off on a tangent about religion, about sorcery, about everything going to hell in a handbasket. He is a kind of religious fanatic. And it's upsetting everyone. So, Lofgren moves on and joins the major outside. They've rushed through their stop and their dinner, and everybody is upset in the entire coach house. This is a regular stop for the horses. They've changed the horses, and they're about to go back to the coaches. Niles is not a pushover by any means, and he is charming and he is witty, but this situation has kind of got out of hand, and I think what happens is Ulrika kind of comes up, and you see in her speaking to someone, and it looks as if she has a handmaid. And the handmaid is is just speaking to her quietly, and she you see nodding, and there's an exchange between them, a conversation that we can't hear. Niles moves forward when the handmaid kind of moves off, and nods his head once again and says, Miss Backlund. Mrs. Backlund? She rolls her eyes and nods. Mrs. Backlund, may I continue to join you in this carriage? If you do not want my presence, I will by every means secure another coach or stay the night. It is completely in your hands. He's not trying to convince her. So I think what's going to happen is we are going to roll to see on Ask the Oracle whether or not she wants him to be with him. Does she like him? Does she like him enough to want him around? Now, this is quite a faux pas. Like, if somebody would have said that in the 18th century, it would have been terrible. If somebody says that now and says to you, geez, you look thin, not going to go so well, even in modern times. I'm going to say that I think that she does like him. And I'm going to say that it's likely that she wants him to continue the journey with her. She's found him fascinating. And it seems as if he's fascinated as well. So, 26 or higher is a yes. Major, I believe that it would be appropriate for us to travel by separate ways. I wish you a pleasant journey. She curtsies, she turns her back on him, and goes to her handmaid. Oh, those dice. All right. Well, that's a fly in the ointment, is it not? All right. So here we are. And I'm going to say that this wonderful establishment that doesn't have those those sunlights in the roof, I don't believe. He returns to the establishment, goes in, and as you see, it's a relatively small place, and goes to the innkeeper and says, is there another coach that I perhaps could take at the earliest convenience? the other gentleman has gone to another coach, and coaches are, you know, they're a mainstay of travel. But as you get farther north, they're not as frequent. And so my vision is that there may or may not be. And so we go back to ask the Oracle, and I'm going to say that it's unlikely. My rolls have been pretty crappy. Let's see how they go. I'm going to say that it's unlikely. So 76 or greater, then yeah, there's an immediate transport. Otherwise, he's going to have to spend the night. 95. So, 95. He absolutely... there is another coach. Yeah, there is another coach. Gets in the coach. He instructs Lofgren to make the changes. And of course, he's very aware of everything. He's very perceptive, and he's right on top of that, and has gone and made the adjustments and the changes. And so he travels. Let's see how the travel goes. So we're going to minimize this down, I think. No, we're just going to switch it over. So here we go to the sheet. And yeah, I think he's going to, let's see how the travel goes. And you know what? For the sake of ease, and also I know that there are Roll20 fans out there, and so I am going to use Roll20 for this particular roll. So we're going to go to moves, and we are adventuring. I'm going to say it's undertake a journey. So this is a troublesome journey, so we're going to see how this goes. I think it's supposed to work. Maybe I have to go back. Close preview. Undertake. Well, it's supposed to be working. Oh well. All right. So as you can see, I'm kind of learning it as I go along, and these are types of things that you'll encounter as you go along. So I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna roll. All right. I'm just gonna do this and grab this, and we're on a journey. Now we're undertaking a journey. So this is the second part of our journey. And I'm going to just make sure I have my sheet up. I'm just going to move this down and grab that. There we go. All right. Strong hit. You reach a waypoint. If the waypoint is unknown to you, envision it. Ask the Oracle if unsure, then choose one. You make good use of your resources. Mark 1 progress. So we're going to mark the progress on our character sheet. And this is to meet the brother. And so there's 1. And let us say that he's made it part of the way. We're going to do this again. So, oh, it's plus wit, so it certainly is a super strong hit. He's rolling wits on this, and so it's plus 4. Yep. So, second part, he's traveling along. Oh. It's a weak hit. Make it use market progress at you move at speed. Make mark progress and take +1 momentum, but suffer supply. Yeah, I'm gonna say that makes sense. He just ate. He's had to spend resources, and yeah, he's a aristocrat, but still. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna mark 1 down in supply, and I'm gonna mark it because it is a weak hit. So I'm going to mark it down and okay, so he doesn't get the momentum because that's on a strong hit. Oh, well, the strong hit was the first one. Yeah, okay, so he gets that. So we're -1 supply. Okay, so we went up 1. Okay, but he does go down with supply. Where the hell is supply? Oh, it's up there. Okay, so supply goes to 4. And then we've done it again, and supply goes down to 3. All right, so he is moving along. He is getting there. And that's the second part of this leg up. And so he did mark the success because there is a weak hit. So yeah. So he reaches a waypoint. The last part of the journey. It's late. It's dark. And we're going to roll weather. Are we going to spend 5 minutes of me looking around for weather? No, because I found the book that I was looking for that had weather in it. And you're going to laugh your backsides off. Oh, I am using Mork Borg. Yay. most stunningly, oddly beautiful book that there is. So, weather is on the inside cover. I'm going to show this to you. Hopefully it will... Look at that. Weather. Right there. So, we're going to roll a 12-sided dice. Five. It's black as night out there. Black as night. So we'll put this back down. It is October in Sweden. It's farther north, and the sun goes down around 5:30. So this is, it makes sense that this is, that it is pitch black out there. Can't see a thing. You've just got the lights. He's traveling alone, other than with Lofgren, and so this is the last part of the journey. Let's see if he can make it. Well, almost the last part of the journey. So we're gonna see once again, and I'm going to roll my metal dice with a Vaesen dice as well. And let's see how this goes. So we're adding wits, which is +4. Oh, nice. So he does get a weak hit. So it's another supply. Now, this is where the rule set needs to be tweaked a bit, because it's not really his supply that's going down, but for this, it's hard. Maybe he's munching as he goes. Probably. Does supply have that much of an effect on an 18th century game with a rule set that's based on almost could be an 1100s or early Middle Ages, if not Dark Ages. So the translation is a little weird. I'll try to kind of be a little more forgiving, but I am going to move it down. And we'll try to figure out, if you have a suggestion, suggest why the supply is going down. Is he traveling in a coach? I'd love to hear an explanation. So, he's suffered supply, but he has done the mark. So he's got 1. So it's a 9. And I think that I'm going to try to reach my destination. I got a +4. Let's try to reach my destination. So let's see if I can do this. When your journey comes to an end, roll the challenge dice and compare your progress. So momentum is ignored. And the strong hit, the situation at your destination favors you. Choose 1. On a weak hit, you arrive. And on a miss, you have gone hopelessly astray. I've got an idea if that happens. Oh, I really hope it doesn't happen. So we're rolling our challenge dice and comparing it to our progress, which is 9. Yeah. All right. So we succeed. Yay! He arrives. And it's very dark out there. And so make another move now, not a progress move, and add +1. Or take +1 momentum. He's taking that momentum. Excellent. And we're going to, I think fulfill gives up another, yeah. I'm just going to move this over a tad and put that up. And I am going to change the scene so you can see. It's a little wonky. Sorry about that. Oh my, I'm grabbing like everything now. All right, so I'm going to minimize that. And there you go. So you can see at the bottom there that this gave me a weak hit. But I'm ignoring that because we did roll and we did succeed. So, he's reached his destination. As the coach approaches, you hear once again that brass horn going off to inform everyone that they're close to their destination, about a mile away. And this is kind of a weird situation with the coach. There's just himself and Lofgren in the coach. Very rarely do you have that. There's nobody up top other than the coachman. And so they've been on their own, traveling. No exchange has gone between them. Lofgren probably has said to Nils how inappropriate the behavior was and what came over him. And Nils has said a passion that he just let his emotions get the better of him. And he wanted to know why this storyteller, this mystic, has, looks so very thin and malnourished. Why? What's gone on? Anyway, he arrives at the coach station and the inn that's, that's here in at Sandsval. And he's at Sandsval, and he gets out of the coach and kind of looks around and speaks to one of the attendants and asks if a coach or something has been sent by Father Victor Friant. And so the person is going to respond, and I think that this is a good opportunity for us to roll with a yes, something has arrived for him, is 51 or higher. Let's see if something has arrived for him. 32. No, nothing has arrived. He's very inquisitive. The person doesn't know who his brother is and isn't familiar. He's not the parish priest of Sonsval. It's kind of a little bit on the outskirts, and so he describes where he is going, and the attendant kind of looks and nods. I do have a horse, if you wish, and I could have somebody accompany you, but the hour is late, and it is a dark, cold night. It's not raining anymore. It's just kind of cold. It's probably around freezing, and he just wants to get and see his brother, and so he's willing to do anything. And I think he is going to undertake another journey. I do believe he's going to undertake another journey. He has not met with his brother. This is just to get to Sonsval. So he's got to Sonsval, and maybe I should have made that vow different to Sonsval. So now I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to change this to meet brother in the parish. And a parish is a geographical area. It's not like a congregation where you have like a church and a community that just goes to the church. This is a parish model, a Lutheran model, which would be more along the lines of Victor is in charge of a geographical area, and it's not in Sonsval. So, what's he going to do? Well, I think he doesn't know the way. He does have somebody accompanying him. I'm going to say it's troublesome. I'm going to say that it's troublesome. This is a hard... It's hard, but it's not impossible. And I don't want to make it super impossible. And I don't want to stretch it out too long either, but I do want the benefits of this. So, let's undertake a journey. So it's a troublesome journey, and he sets off. So, it's a weak hit. A weak hit. Alright, so I'm going to move this over since I'm not using roll 20. And, I'm just going to move this over right here so that you can read the text if you so desire. And I'm going to move this over to here-ish. Yeah, whatever. Make it a little smaller. All right. Oh, that doesn't help at all, does it? All right. So we got a weak hit, so I'm going to mark that. And of course, he had to pay. So that makes sense that he's down another supply, right? But he didn't get any momentum. Next part. Ah, a weak hit. After a little bit of travel, it seems long. The Major is aware. He's not a stupid man. He's a very smart man. And he's aware that something is going wrong. Something's not right. He's worried. Something's not right. And so let's see what happens. Let's pay the price. This is indeed stressful. So. $70. It is stressful. He's not comfortable. He realizes that things are not right. He's looked at this and said to himself, is this man honest? He's questioning whether or not the guide is bringing him in the right direction. He hasn't been here before. This is the first time that he's gone into it's the first time that he's been in Sweden in over 10 years. So it's very unfamiliar. He's traveling. It's dark. And it seems as if it's taking longer than it should have by Victor's description of where to go. There's another horseman. Who's that, you ask? Well, it is Lofgren, who's also traveling. He's been able to get the bags attached and everything, and they're on horseback. They don't have a carriage, but they're able to make do and be able to travel as best as possible. But this is uncomfortable, it's cold, and things are becoming more and more increasingly stressful. So, let's see what happens now. We're going to try this again. Let's see if he gets anywhere. So we're just gonna go back to the travel, and so we're just gonna see. Undertake a journey. I'm just going to pause it for a second. So, let's see how this goes. They're lost, or at least he feels lost. And it was a weak hit. He paid the price. A strong hit. Or no, a weak hit. He's come to a home. And I think that he needs to ask, there's an ensuring of directions, and he's had to spend his last supply. Yeah. He apologizes for the late hour. Excuse me, kind sir, I'm looking for Father Friant. He is my brother. Are you aware of where the rectory is? The man at the door is, looks like a farmer. Remember, it's very dark. He couldn't see the fields or what's going on, but he can tell by his dress that he's, kind of a commoner, as it were. He does some directions and says, yes, you just have to move over here and go there. And the other gentleman is kind of looking, and listening and says, oh yes, I know where that is. And Lofgren is getting exceedingly stressed. Everybody is stressed. And so once again, he's going to try to go to the rectory. Strong hit. So he's going to take that momentum. Now, he's going to take that momentum, which is now at +7. And he's going to try to end the journey. Yeah. So we're on 9. And he makes it. Strong hit. He's going to take 1 momentum. It just makes sense. Finally, he says to Lofgren. The rectory is a very nice location. It's a simple home, kind of Georgian style. Door in the center, 2 windows on either side of the door, 2 windows, or 5 windows, 2 very similar to the ones below, and then 1 above the door. It's kind of a regular square type of 2-story home. There's no lights on. Nothing. Lofgren goes, knocks at the door. Nothing. Niles, very stressed, impatient. His temper is starting to get to him. It's been a horrible day. He's dismissed this woman and insulted her, this crazy, fundamentalist, crazy guy has gone after him in no uncertain terms. It's been an absolute nightmare of a day. It's been cold riding. It's late at night and his brother is not home. It's after 8 p.m. Where is he? The guide has not left. The guide is still there, kind of wondering what to do. And he turns to him and says, do you know where I don't know your brother. I don't know this area. I'm sorry I can't help you. I need to return to my family. He does one last thing. He's going to try to compel him. I must find a place to stay. My brother isn't here. I don't know where he is. The door is locked. I cannot get in. I don't know what to do. After about an hour of all this, he's really, that's it. He's saying, you have to take me somewhere. Where do I go? Well, he's got a weak hit. I know someone of your estate, sir. I can bring you to their home. They're a different sort. They will certainly receive you tonight. They're probably drunk, to be honest. But what I ask of you is that you put in a good word for me. I have been looking to get hired at a better job than just being a coachman. I would like to be employed at their estate. You do that for me, and I will take you there immediately. He ponders and thinks about it and realizes that he's stuck. He doesn't know where he is. It's dark. It's cold. So he promises to get a job for the coachman. I don't know how I spelled that wrong, but whatever. All right. And it's just a troublesome, it's just going to be a troublesome vow. And he's going to make that vow. And so he does swear, and they go off in the night to this estate. Next time we'll jump right into it. We'll get moving on the story. It's been kind of start-stop. Today was really once again another episode of me learning how to do the mechanics of stuff, having resources available. I have ordered the books online so that I'll have them readily available. I know that there's a consequence to having zero supply. I will find out what that is. It just doesn't come to mind right away. I think that it's an interesting story. It's gone in a different direction than I thought it would. And that's great, because that's the whole point of Ironsworn, is to make you deal with surprises. And nothing goes the way you want it to go. Life in general doesn't go the way you want it to go. So we've got some interesting things going on, interesting character developments, interesting interactions, and some tension. A lot of tension. We're going to see how that plays out next time. And I do have something for next time for sure. Thanks a lot. Remember, buy Vaesen. Buy Delve, because we will be delving at some point, and Ironsworn. Support the work of Sean Tompkin and the efforts of the community. Go to their Discord, go to various sources, and support all of these people who I've mentioned and used over the course of our time together. It is an hour and 30 minutes. I am trying to keep it to an hour and 30 minutes. And so this has been really enjoyable. Thanks a lot for joining me. Enjoy your day, and hopefully I'll get back to this soon with our next installment of Dread Prospects. Take care. Bye.